Hello, Mrs. Hoyle. I want you to explain to us when you looked at this data from the document-based essay, which we see is a 78%. That was the baseline average for all your eighth graders. So it wasn't only your classes, right? It was all the eighth graders. What was your first thought about that baseline average for the writing document-based essay?
So when I first looked at it, I reminded myself that the baseline, we didn't teach to prepare the students for the baseline essay. Looking at the 78, however, I thought that was a little low. It's a C average coming into 8th grade, and I really thought our students, having 2 years in middle school behind them, may have been able to score a little bit higher than a C on the essay.
And then how did that feeling change? Because I know that you were able to also then look at the the 7th grade and the 6th grade data, which I will show. Okay, this was the 6th grade data. They started at 66% and went up to 82. And they started at 7th grade started at 73%. So looking at that, how did that change your feeling about where the 8th graders started?
Well, I was happy to see that over the 2 years there was definitely growth in the baseline between 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So that at least showed me as a baseline that our students were definitely taking what they've learned in the past and improving their writing, especially coming off the summer, because they did write this baseline in September.
Okay. And then when you looked at the growth between the baseline and marking period 2, which is an 82%, what did you feel about that growth, especially when you were looking at the 7th grade growth, which seemed to be a little higher? So it was like a 4% growth in 8th grade. There was like an 8% growth in 7th grade, and then a 16% growth in 6th grade.
So I was sitting with Miss Smith and Miss Vidal, and we were reviewing this data, and Miss DeGraw, and 4% originally or initially for us, we were feeling a little discouraged between the baseline and the second essay. We did incorporate more content in our teaching. We had our rubric that we went over with the students. We provided mini lessons to hopefully improve their writing for this next piece, and to see a 4% growth kind of showed that we didn't do our job, maybe. But then we sort of had an aha moment that Miss Cruz kind of planted that in our minds a little bit.
So what was that aha moment?
So looking back towards the 6th grade, they started at 66%. They were coming in